only just above waist height. No ball on that occasion.
Beautifully placed. That outfield is lightning fast.
The little fella's in good form. Just leaning on that straight drive. Almost rolling the bottom hand over it. And the ball just tearing away. Value for shots on this ground.
There by Steve Waugh. 6 runs off that over. Pakistan 1 for 40. Ramiz has hold out at mid-off. Well taken by Glenn Bishop. Tall man, and he needed every centimetre. So they're scoring quickly, Pakistan, but they've lost 2 wickets in the first 8 overs. Second of them being Ramiz, holding out at mid-off. That's well taken by Glenn Bishop. So the second wicket goes down with the score at 40.
So the new batsman is Javed Miandad. Very experienced, as you can see. 105 one-day internationals, and a lot now depending on him. Pakistan's most experienced and best batsman. Tremendous player, tremendous one-day player especially. Very fast runner between the wickets and very experienced. 2 for 40. And on the way, right away. This ball just pushing it away for a single.
The man who took the great catch to dismiss Ramiz Raja. I think he was defeated by the swing. He seemed in the end to me to be reaching for the ball. Wasn't quite where he wanted it. I always tell the man who's played Australian rules, get up in the air for the high marks. Oh, lucky. Must have been so close to wide.
Yes, it pitched wide, and McClay bowling these outswingers went even wider. And it was a wide, but it was signaled by the batsman, but not by the umpire, so it doesn't count. Australians right on their toes now, in real contrast to last night against England. And that ball clipping the top of the bails. And now let's have a look at this. Kazim Omar, having got back into his ground, then lingered out of it. And Zura came up and disturbed the stumps, but that didn't matter. Even if he had been out of his ground, you've got to remove one of the stumps with the ball in your hand if you're to effect a run out with the ball having broken the bails earlier. bails are broken for any reason, the only way you can effect a run out is then to pull up one of the stumps with the ball in the hand. So a leg by finishes off the over with a score at 2 for 42. In his first over tonight, conceding 6 runs. Here's what happened in the last over. Now the ball has broken the stumps, the bails are off. Kazim Omar just ambling out of his ground, and Zora comes up and then hits the stumps again, but even if Kazim Omar was out of his ground, he would not have been out. Zora would have to have pulled up one of the stumps with the ball in his hand. Very intricate rule perhaps, but a rule which Oliveira, the English South African, in his very first test match at Lord's back in 1966. Wes Hall, the great West Indian fast bowler, was the bowler, and the ball broke the stumps, bails were dislodged, and Wes Hall had the presence of mind to pull the stumps up. Well, Zora didn't there, he just broke the stumps again.
Very interesting situation. Let me pose you the question. If that had been right at the end of the innings tonight, with the wicket needing to be taken, Australians absolutely desperate for it to be taken, I wonder what they'd have said to Zura. And I wonder how much he'd have been fined for the team fund.
But I'm amazed that someone who's in the Australian team playing Test cricket doesn't know that really elementary and basic rule that you learn really at school.
Not as amazed as I am, Tony. Situation was, in that instant we're talking about, the stumps were broken. Now Zura comes back thinking he can run out Kazim Omar and actually asks the umpire for a decision. Well, I hope he was joking.
That's a great shot, and that's 4 runs. Magnificently played. Javed, who is such a tremendous player, enjoyed that shot. Carries Pakistan to 2 for 47. They themselves have a team with several all-rounders coming after number 4. Kazim Omar very fast between the wickets. Really is very fleet-footed.
I think the fastest runner between the wickets I ever saw was Pakistani Asif Iqbal. And these two are very good. I think Javed has probably copied his running between the wickets from Asif Iqbal.
Outside edge, but they all count. They'll come back for a second. They really should have come back for a second there. Having run 2 earlier, one would have thought that Kazim Omar would have come for a second there. Certainly if the 2 were on earlier off the previous delivery, they were on there. And I don't think Javed Miander is too pleased about that. Neatly played. He was coming to give the charge and then found he had to adjust the shot. He's out on the onside for a single. Very busy player, very difficult player to bowl at. Talk to all the international bowlers, they tell you that Javed Miandad, very strong in all areas, and one of the most respected batsmen in international cricket. Well, he's got 6, it's now 2 for 51. Very experienced player. Javed Miandad made a tremendous debut in international cricket when he was the age of 18, got a double century in his opening test match against New Zealand. And from that age, you could tell that he was going to be an outstanding international cricketer.
And the problems with being such a good runner between the wickets, as is the case with Javed Miandad, is that you have to have someone in with you who A, has a good understanding with you, and B, is prepared to take a few risks, because there are singles to be had there, not just in limited overs matches, but in tests as well. Javed is a great runner. If he gets someone in with him who is not quite so good, not quite so sharp, then they may have problems.
Well, the appeal really in hope rather than expectation. End of the over, 2 for 52 at the end of 11 to Kazim Omar. And lovely shot down the ground. He doesn't move, he doesn't have to. Tremendous drive.
Perfectly placed and almost discourteously placed. He didn't even bother to make a flourish with the bat, just gave it a bit of a thump and turned his back on it.
And that's put away square on the offside this time, and that's 4 more runs. He really is timing this ball sweetly. That's the third boundary he's taken off Reed. Started off with an off drive, then the on drive, and then the cover drive. So he's really given the repertoire here. And that's well bowled. Overpitched the first 2 deliveries and was driven away for boundaries. And then really putting it in for that one. And that's the third boundary in the over. So Kazim Omar really taking a toll here, Bruce Reed. Really the long and short of it. Bruce Reed, 6 feet 8 inches tall.
That was beautifully played. He didn't bother trying to keep that on the ground. Improvised stroke. Hit it away magnificently. Past point quite deliberately. Now, Bruce Reed is in his 3rd over. He has none for 23. It's harsh treatment for the man who's been Australia's best bowler so far this year.
And the full toss, he's lucky to get away with that one. Didn't time it, hit it down to mid-off, but that could well have been the 4th boundary of the over.
A lot of Michael Whitney fans back in New South Wales wondering how he's going to be taken off with 3 overs for 19. Very excited over in that part of the world.
And that's the fourth boundary of the over, and he doesn't bother to move either. Kazim Omar, really a character of cricket, holds his bat up for his half century, which he gathered with 4 consecutive boundaries in that over, and Pakistan are 2 for 68. So those 4 boundaries in that over from Bruce Reid really lifted the scoring rate. He's now had 3 overs, no maidens, no wicket for 27. Both teams relying very heavily on all-rounders this evening. Pakistan and Australia with 4 specialist batsmen, and then into the all-rounders. Imran in next, and then Asif Mushtaba. Lovely throw from Whitney. Javed Miandad was willing to go for the second there, but then found that Whitney was the fielder, and quite rightly regained his crease at the non-striker's end. Well bowled. Kazim Omar thought that as well. Bowling some big outswingers here, Maclay, and that really went past the outside edge. So a single, but the question is, did it quite carry? Well, he just managed to get the fingers onto it. Just short, but certainly not quite what he intended. The outswing and dropping just wide and just short.
It's well bowled. Good feeling as well, but very well bowled. He saw Javed coming. It's 2 for 7.
And now 53 of them.
Most of them from drives, offside strokes. Well, there's one past square leg, one down to fine leg. But most of the others have been cover drives, square cuts, lovely flowing shots.
Leg by, all adding to the score, and the Pakistani rate is certainly quite rapid. Really well in advance of Australia at this stage. They've lost 2 wickets. Australia lost only 1 at that stage, but Australia went on to lose another one quite sharply after that one. In fact, their second wicket fell at 49. Through a leg by. And even though that did take the pad. The force of the ball carried it through the pad, and poor Kazim Omar felt it.
Run rate required at the start of the innings was 5.48, and they're scoring at 5.4 at the moment.
Kazim Omar's played so well. Javed is the one that any team wants to get in the Pakistani order. And that was beautifully bowled. Javed out for 7. 3 for 73. This batsman, but one who has gone through difficulties, certainly in the series against the West Indies, which preceded this Benson and Hedges challenge. He had his problems. Usually an opening batsman, finds himself now in the middle order.
I think Reed might have had someone tell him about those problems. Well, now, that was very well bowled, but I must ask the question, would that have been a no ball? Would that not have been over the position where the umpire at square leg would call no ball? I rather think it would have. Let's have a look at that previous dismissal.
Javed playing right over it, got the bat onto it, but it was a good delivery. Right up in the block hole, and Javed right over it, and a really crucial dismissal, and the Australians are jubilant, and they have every right to be. Oh, glorious shot. That's 4 runs. 4 runs from the time it left the bat.
Well, they've got to stop him doing that. Now, whether they do it by better bowling or better field placings, or... But he's taken advantage of the fact that there've got to be 2 men in catching positions and lots of men inside that circle. It's clever tactics from Imran Khan. He'll have sent Kazim Omar out there to take advantage of that playing condition, about the number of fielders who have to be inside the circle, therefore can't be out on the boundary to save runs. He's done it well. 57 out of 77.
Well played. Just clipping it down towards backward square leg. And you've really done very well to have got 58 in the first 15 overs. And of course, after the first 15, the fielding team can then drop men outside the restricting semicircles. But I think any captain would feel pleased to have 78 on the board from his first 15.
Still a lot of runs, 7 wickets in hand. Imran Khan has 2 experienced players out there at the moment. That will count for a lot, rather than put the younger players under pressure.
And this is an absolutely crucial match for both teams. Pakistan, having won their first match, will know that if they win this one, it would virtually assure them a place in the final. They've only got one more match to go after this one against England. They beat the West Indies in the first match, and if they win this one, well, I would say that that would virtually guarantee them a place. On the other hand, if Australia lose this one, that could well mean curtains for them. So 5 runs from the over. Pakistan 3 for 78. Over the decisive wicket of Javed Miandad. He comes back now. The batsman is Kazim Umar, who has 58. And the commentator is Tony Gregg, and with him, Bill Laurie.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, Reid a little bit hot now that he's got a wicket. And that one a quicker ball too. Crikey, he's got an uncanny knack of getting the ball away no matter what. That time he jumped up in the air, closed the face of the bat, and it ended up going down to fine leg for 1. Had the man not been there, it would have still gone for 4.
That's a fiery delivery. Omar jumping, taking the bottom hand away, getting some bat to it. That's very important. 59 with 9 forwards. It's been a superb knock so far. Some glorious stroke play.
It's a better ball right up in the block hole. They're very difficult to get away. That's the one he got Miandad with 2.
No swing, just attempted Yorker. Pakistan after 15 overs, very important for them to be 3 for 78. Maybe they wouldn't have liked to lose 3 wickets, but their run rate, their tactics are right. But 5 runs per over for the first 15. That gives them a chance.
Well bowled again. Once again, right up in the block hole. It's the place to bowl when you're trying to quieten them down a bit, and that's exactly what Australia are trying to do right now. Qasim is the man who's caused the problem. But have a look at that for a Yorker. Qasim has scored 59 out of the 79 scored. And he dominated the scene out there.
So that's the best performance after 15 overs so far in the series. I'm quite sure, Tony, they'd be prepared to sacrifice a wicket or 2 to be up with the run rate at this stage.
Yes, I don't think that Pakistan need to get too carried away. I think this is a 275 wicket, easy, and the way they've started, I think this is going to be a very close match. I suppose your money's on Australia even now.
For the loss of 3 wickets, I'd say yes, but they have got depth in their batting. They bat right down to Salim, and that is very important. Certainly, if one of these makes 100, it'll be very close indeed.
Even apparently that Wasim, he got 61 at night as night watchman against the West Indies in one of the recent test matches. And he's coming in at number 10. So the Pakistanis certainly have got the message about batting depth. It's vitally important in these one-day games. Imran obviously having some influence with the selectors there. And they've decided to play as many all-rounders as they possibly can. There's no future at all in having a long tail in one-day cricket. Having said that, the Australians have scored their 273. Pakistan have now got to get them, and they've just quietened them down a little bit. A tidy over, 1 for 56 balls. What an innings it's been so far. He's got the strike, and a few adjustments now are being made to the field because 15 overs have been bowled, and Border doesn't any longer have to persist with the 2 close catches and spread the field a little. Ken McClay is going to continue. This is his 9th over. And he's going for it again, just outside off stump. And Ken McClay, I think, has been a little lucky to get away with some of those wide deliveries outside the off stump.
That was definitely a wide. Steve Rendell prepared to call them on their weak side, but what's this? That's got to be a wide.
Yes, I agree. Just because the ball's swinging away down that side, I mean to say that the umpire shouldn't call wide. And the thing about it is that he's bowled it there consistently, which is even worse. Gone bang on target that time, and a big loud no from Mudassa down the other end. Mudassa's only just arrived at the crease and doesn't look in great touch at all.
16, so not a lot in it, just the 1 wicket. Australia then went to be 3 for 70, and then Jones and Waugh got together that magnificent partnership of 173, and that swung the Australian batting order on the right line.
It's played that one on the offside, another single. Kasim has scored 3/4 of the total so far. And while you say there's not much in it, Bill, there's 19 or 20 in it. It's a few overs. I mean, I know it's only one for you in both of them. But they're just a couple of overs behind at the moment. Have a look at that. 9 boundaries. Strike rate of 101.6.
That's a problem here for Wasim Omar because he's not prepared to look for the single, just trying to the pace of the wicket, but really he must try and give as much strike as he can to his partner, who's playing superbly. Madassa yet to get off the mark. He's faced 10 deliveries. That's not good enough.
It's in the air and there's a man down there, but it's going into the gap. So at least that area covered now. Madassa is off the mark. So he would have been getting just a little bit frustrated, and as a result played the shot.
He opened the face here, the bottom hand away. A bit fortunate, he split the deep cover and a deep third man. Wasn't a convincing shot at all. Shot of a man out of form.
So that's the end of the over, 3 for 82. And Australia did get off to a good start. First wicket fell at 34. The man out was Shoaib. He was out LBW to the swinging ball. It hit the pad in front of middle and leg. And that was first blood to Australia. 1 for 34 when he was out. The next man to go was Ramiz. Ramiz Raja was out, caught brilliantly by Bishop at mid-off. Have a look at this. He hit the ball down the ground. Up he went. And what a catch that was. Magnificent effort. Out for a duck was Ramiz. The war has now been brought into the attack. So 2 down for 40. The third wicket fell when the score was on 73. Javed Miandad was out, and he was comprehensively bowled. Probably nicked the inside edge there onto the pad and onto the stumps, but what a ball that was from Bruce Reid. A quicker one, a Yorker, right up in the block hole. 3 for 73 it was. War again. This is a pretty important time now for Australia. If Stephen Waugh can keep it tight, it really will help them to win this game. So Waugh, having just bowled 2 balls, is the 4th bowler. McClay has completed 9. He's been quite economical and taken 2 wickets as well. Whitney was very expensive. Reid, having been just a little bit expensive, has now taken a wicket.
Stephen Waugh getting plenty of bounce out of this whacker pitch. Amo looking for the square slash. Jag back slightly and cramped the little right-hander. What a good delivery that. And moving off the seam. Still an even contest. Australia just with the upper hand at the moment. On a better line and length.
Well, he's hit that one and it's racing away down to the boundary there. Matthews fumbles. It gathers, and so just 1. They want to keep him away from the strike as much as they can. See if they can frustrate Madassa out. They've got to get Imran in as quickly as possible. They've then got Asif. Then it's Mansoor, who's the man that Imran says hits the ball harder than anyone else in the world. Interesting to see him bat. Salim, he's not bad either. Wasim is not too bad. There's plenty of batting to come. Madassa wants 2. Kasim's a little slow. Nicely fielded. McClay, the fieldsman.
Yes, the Australians bouncing around tonight. The big scores that their batsmen have set. You just feel that bit of enthusiasm in the fielding. The bowling, despite the attack from Kasim Omar, has been reasonably tidy, but the field have been very, very keen indeed, and rightly so.
Yes, the Aussie side were bubbling out there early on. That's a good start for Stephen Waugh. 3 for 84.
Over the years, men.
Also, as you can see, they've slowed him up a little bit. His runs up to date have been ahead of balls faced. There's the comparison. Lost his 1 extra wicket. And Ken McClay about to start his last over. Madassa on strike. And Well, he's got that one away nicely down to third man. Whitney, the fielder there.
Run rate required 5.9. The current run rate 4.67, just dropping slightly since Nadas has come to the crease. They've still got 7 wickets in hand.
Well, there's a bit of bounce there and nicely adjusted by Kasim.
He gets himself in a brilliant position to pull or cut, and then has an interesting way of compromising, given that he wants to play the ball back down the pitch.
Have a look at this. He could pull that, but then rolls the wrist in a funny sort of action over the top. It's almost like a slow motion tennis forehand. Top spinner, as it were.
So bowled.
And a very good spell by Ken McRae. He's kept the ball up, he's swung it, going into the Fremantle breeze, southwesterly, just holding its line. But for the most of the time, he's been up on the perfect length. 9.3 overs, 2 for 32 is an excellent spell of bowling, and striking every 28 deliveries.
Probably be Simon O'Donnell to take over from Ken McClay. He's in position there at mid-wicket, and I've just noticed that he's been loosening up. So he's probably got the word from Border.
Oh, I thought that Matthews may have come into the attack, but it looks like it is going to be Simon O'Donnell. The choice that Border has is a spin or medium pace.
And once again, straight to backward point. So this is turning out to be a good over too. A lot of pressure on the Australian captain. He was out to a bad shot today, and he really would be desperate to get a victory up for Australia.
Yes, well, the batsmen have done the job. 273. Excellent score. Now the bowlers regrouping after an early onslaught. Find good line length.
That's short. It's in the air, over the top of Bruce Reid, down towards the boundary there, and Kasim Omar doesn't bother to take one step down the pitch. Well, that is a lousy way to end what's been a good spell. A little smile on his face, and Pakistan now 3 for 89. I suppose it would be fair to say, Bill, that if you had a choice in one-day cricket, you wanted to bowl, you wanted to be a bowler, the way to go about it is to get your overs out of the way right at the beginning.
Certainly, while the balls knew not come back to that final 10 overs, but must say in fairness to Ken McRae, it was a good performance because Omar was attacking from the very first over. So it was a very steady performance by McRae and picked up 2 valuable wickets. One was a brilliant catch by Bishop at mid-off.
Once again, Kasim gets that one away square on the offside. He'll settle for 1. The Australian fielding has been decidedly better today than it was yesterday. There's a sense of urgency about it. And when they got 2 quick wickets, they really were bubbling out there. Kasim quietened them down a little bit when he really got stuck into Reid. But since then, they've quietened them down again, and they're beginning to bubble again.
Dassa, 30 years of age. He's played 96 matches, so he's a veteran. A very good average, 25.83, but never scored 100. 14 50s.
It's well bowled. A little glance down towards square leg. That's what they've got to try and make him do, hit across the line. He's a very straight player. He's a good timer too.
And he's a very good all-round cricketer. He's won 6 of the Man Match Awards in those 96 matches. That shows his value for Pakistan. When you're looking, I had a bit of a good history of the Man of the Match Awards. Viv Richards has won 21. Next best is Gordon Greenwich with 11, and Desmond Hayes with 11. And there's Border, Martin, Crowe, Jarvid on 9, but Viv Richards 10 man of the match awards in front of any other player.
Yes, there's daylight between him and second. That's another good over from Stephen Waugh, 3 for 92.
I Believe. 16 songs of peace and love from Tony Barber. And with the National Boys Choir, Tony sings How Great Thou Art. Amazing Grace. I Believe. 16 songs to warm the heart from Tony Barber.
Wasn't that fantastic? The sun setting in the west here over the Indian Ocean. And there's the comparison. After 20 overs, Pakistan still quite a long way ahead of runs, and now all of a sudden the wickets are level. So they'd have to be favourite right at this moment in time. And I suppose Alan Border out there will be hoping, Bill, for a little bit of movement to creep in, which has come to dominate the evening session here in Perth. The captains all seem to think it's moved around a little bit more once the lights come on.
Could well be something to do with the tide. We're not far from the Swan River here. You find that when the ground is close to a river that you have a tidal change, and that does affect the grass. You see that in South Africa, in Durban, where the board certainly seems abound with a change of tide. The sun goes down in the west, but I still think this is a pretty good batting wicket.
Well, it's a good batting wicket, all right. It's coming onto the bat beautifully. There's no way in the world we could criticise the ground staff here. They've done very well. And it's a pleasing thing, actually, because in the past that they've been a little bit damp. They've been inclined to seam around too much. But this is a perfect wicket for one-day cricket, and there's one alongside it too, which looks just as good. Apparently the other one is going to be used in the final and perhaps in one or two other games. It does look very good too.
I'm a little bit surprised that Madassa's not looking for the short single. A good ring of fieldsmen on the offside. There's 3, a point, a cover, and a mid-off. On the onside, a mid-on straight, and a mid-wicket. Reasonably deep, so he can work the ball square of the wicket for a single if he can't pierce it with a cover drive. And he mustn't control the strike. He must give him Omar as much strike as possible.
With affection there off the boot of Simon O'Donnell, but nice backing up there by the Australians.
Yes, well, 5 bowlers have now been used by Alan Border. This one hit straight down the ground. 5 bowlers have been used, and still Matthews is up the sleeve of Border. They don't have to bowl him. But if someone does take some punishment, they could always slip him in for an over or two. That's nicely played. Well, I think we've got a real ripper of a match on our hands here, Bill. It's going to be very close.
It's just a matter of who snaps first, really. Jones and Waugh went on from the situation. You've seen Omar's played superbly for 66. Madassa struggling to find touch. But they are the key experienced players. If they go on, it's going to be a very close finish.
For 93. And who would know? It wasn't the middle of the day. He had at the whacker.
Comparison. Gradually closing that gap. Pakistan is struggling at the moment. A good crowd in again. Very good crowd in. Delighted by Dean Jones's great 100. Stephen Waugh. Now Stephen Waugh doing a double job. Batted superbly. As a junior partner and a wonderful partnership.
It was the next wicket that put on the runs for Australia. The 4th wicket between Jones and Waugh. They put on 173. So the Pakistanis are going to struggle to keep up in terms of the comparison from here on in, unless they really start turning it on. there it is. Oh, and a big appeal there for LBW. He's got it! He's out, LBW! What a great move for Australia! That one nipping back. It's going to be interesting to see on replay. The batsman doesn't look happy, but Radassa is on his way back to the pavilion, and the Australians are doing well.
That was close enough with the naked eye. We'll see it on replay. He just shuffled across the crease. Yes, that was fun. No worry, the ball jagging back. It wouldn't have missed leg stump. It wasn't too high. Radassa paid the penalty for not getting forward. Umpire Tony Crafer had no hesitation at all when he judged the LBW decision. He's out for 7. And it's 4 for 93.
The Australian Women's Weekly $500,000 gold bullion giveaway continues.
There's another $500,000 gold bullion entry form in our super 258-page holiday issue of the Weekly. You'll love reading about the golden couple, Mr. and Mrs. Grant Kenny. Gay Waterhouse shows her love and resolve, plus exclusive souvenir photographs of the papal visit and Bob Dodoff's wedding. For kids of all ages, there's 10 pages of things to do when there's nothing to do, and a review of children's pantomimes throughout Australia. For us mums, there's 16-page zip out of delicious holiday hits. There's gardening hints by Don Burke, Alan Searle, and remarkably Richard Sterling, as well as Your Starter 87. Plus 50 quick facelifts for your home. Wonderful royal doggy snacks. And for a great holiday read, we have 4 fabulous short stories. And I'll show you how to dress for the bush. And don't forget, this is your second time.
Imran's the new batsman, and the misfield left him off the hook. Simon O'Donnell fielding at backward point there, so that was a bad miss. They don't want that to creep into their game. Very experienced Imran Khan, a very good player. Not a great starter, but once he gets going, he can hit the ball very hard. Nicely played, straight to extra cover, fielded by Border. Well, are they going to have a chat to each other? Yes, they are. They're supposed to be in conflict, these two. There was an article in the paper this morning, but they're having a little chat. Let's have another look at that dismissal.
Nice bit of moving off the seam. Ball jags back. Hit him on the roll. I don't think there was much doubt about that one. And Radassa struggling for touch is LBW. Stephen Waugh. It's the wicket the Australians needed. It brings Imran to the crease, and if Imran can survive the first 4 or 5 overs, he certainly will throw the bat at the ball, prepared to hit it over cover. He's a very good batsman who can open the blade, hit it over cover point. He faces Simon O'Donnell.
O'Donnell going for the Yorker straight away. Imran's a good driver. He's going to have to try and keep him on that back foot a little bit. And there's a chance of an LBW if the batsman stays back. Saw that Radassa trapped in that fashion. So Borders at extra cover. Walking in to save the single. And on the other side of the wicket, Ian Jones moving in very quickly there too. So they are right on their toes. Looking good at the moment, the Australians. 4 for 94, Pakistan chasing 273.
Big task now if there was a 4 early wicket. Imran, one of the world's great all-rounders.
He's good between the wickets too. Quick single there, that gets him onto 2. Doesn't look entirely happy with his bat.
Well, he's really the Ian Botham of the Pakistan side, a hard hitter. Quite in Botham's class as a batsman, but certainly has the ability to hit the ball hard and often. As captain, he'll be very keen to occupy the crease for the remaining overs in this match.
Yes, he's a pretty cool customer, Imran. I played with him for Sussex going back a fair few years. And while he's a pretty fiery fast bowler with a bat, he's a pretty cool customer. Seems to take his time, tries to keep everyone calm, no panicking, and he'll be talking to Kasim out there and saying, just play a normal game. There's nothing to get, you don't have to get too excited. Mind you, he's been pretty excited since the first ball he received here today. He really has gone well. And that's a lovely shot too, but he's all of a sudden starting to find the fielders, whereas going back a little while, at the start of his innings, he was finding gaps.
Simon O'Donnell just giving the right hand a little bit of width. border with a very strong protective offside field, containing the Pakistan batsman just at the right time, the run rate dropping down to 4.16.
That one's into the gap. Just 2 off the over. A good over for Australia. 4 for 96. Well, made a contribution to putting the brakes on Kasim, who has 67. To take up commentary now, it's going to be Ian Chappell and Max Walker.
Thanks, Tony. That's the comparison after 23 overs. Pakistan doing all right as far as runs are concerned. If they had lost 1 more wicket. But then you must bear in mind the partnership between Jones and Moore. 173 in 107 minutes of 175 balls. Magnificent partnership. Stephen Moore finishing with 82, Jones with 121, and Stephen Moore doing an excellent job with the ball. 3 overs, no maiden, 1 for 6.
There they are. Dean Jones and Steve Moore. Runs with the bat.
Caught. And he loses his boot in the process, Alan Border. But he didn't need his boot. Just needed a couple of safe hands, a pair of safe hands. And the 5th Pakistan wicket is down, and they're in big trouble.
Kazim Omar lollies that one out. Alan Border puts his best foot forward, loses the boot, straight into the bucket. War gets his 2nd wicket, but what a delightful knock from Kazim Omar. He really did play a superb inning. Great stuff. 67 runs, just 82 deliveries. Pakistan now 5 down for 96 and in trouble.
And he's out there to replace Kazim, who was safely caught in the covers by Alan Border.
He picked up his 2nd wicket. Good persistent line and length there. Situation of the game bringing about that downfall. Omar trying to force the pace. A little bit of extra bounce, and he paid the penalty.
And Manzoor Alahi off the mark with a single to 3rd man. So Pakistan are going along pretty well as far as the run rate is concerned. Just over 4, but they've lost far too many wickets at this stage in their innings.
27 overs to go. Kazim Omar, a knock with a touch of magic. And Border has to catch with a difference. And, well, excitement in the Australian camp after Pakistani's back in the pavilion now. And on Border starting to sniff a bit of a victory here at the Wacker. O'Donnell about to come and bowl his 3rd over.
Out there from Simon O'Donnell. Fairly confident about the shout.
Steve Randall's the man with the decision. Tasmanian born umpire. I think that one may have just missed leg. Well, there's some benefit there. There is. He's with it to the batsman, unfortunately, for Simon O'Donnell. He's pretty disappointed. Too much emotion. Steve Randall, like most umpires. Make your own decision. Here's the Wacker. Batsman 2 at the crease. And Zor needs to get off the mark.
The man out at deep mid-wicket, Greg Matthews. And I think that Imran will probably want to have a word with and Alahi. He's getting a bit ambitious. That was a very ambitious shot. It's been described as one of the hardest hitters in the game. But at the moment, Pakistan really need to keep this innings going, not lose wickets.
The case, Darlene, and Jaffa, Akram, now Steve to come, the 3 bowlers and the keeper. So effectively, the tail comes next with more than half the overs still to be bowled. I think a common sense approach by Imran Khan is necessary. And that's exactly that. A straight bat, pushing the ball slowly down to deep mid-off. Taking 274. Supposed to be 100. They started with a great blaze of glory. Kazim Omar belting the ball to all parts of the park. Bruce Reid went for 16 in 1 over, something that we don't see very often.
Well taken by Simzura. Pakistan have done well to get back into this game after Kazim Omar got away to a tremendous start. They really had that run rate going, but Reid, Waugh, O'Donnell have put the brakes on.
The lights really coming into effect here. 6 huge pylons, $4.8 million. And the current run rate of 3.93. Now chasing 7.
Order in the covers. The man who put the brakes on there, Ken McClay, with 2 for 36 from 10. 2 wickets, very important in putting on the brakes.
McClay perhaps swung the ball more this evening than I have seen any other bowler in the Cup so far. 2 valuable wickets, moved the ball away from the right-handers. Pakistan 100 coming off 153 balls. Australia 5 more balls to get their 100.
Fans are just pushing and running that last single. I'm sure Imran would have had a bit of a chat to him and said, just steady down. Just push a few runs around here first. Get a feel of things out in the middle, particularly under the lights, before you start to be ambitious. Very cool head in a tight situation, Imran. But he'll need some partners to help him out with Pakistan 5 for 102.
Pakistani players look to women for a great deal of lead. Amazing character in Pakistan cricket.
This one goes over mid-wicket. There's no one out there. Ian Jones has to come around from square leg. It's 5 for 104. Beautifully hit straight. And Imran, sensing that there's no one back, took the opportunity to hit one straight down the ground, a la Ian Botham.
It's a beautiful shot. Straight back, down the ground. No fieldsman out there. Very safe shot.
That brings about a change in the field placings now. And McClay goes back to mid-off on the fence. So that allows Imran a fairly easy single for hitting one straight down the ground on the offside. fact, allows him a bit more of an opportunity on the offside in general to pick up a single. Still no one back deep mid-on. So that's what an attacking stroke, that's the advantage that it can bring you.
Simon will be well aware that he can get down the required rate to under 6 and work the ball around in ones, maybe twos. Not too many risks involved. And it's pretty important that he be there for a great deal of remaining overs. Run rate that Pakistan now require is 6.91. So it'll take a boundary or two yet to get that down under that 6. Making O'Neill a little more comfortable. Scoring currently at 4.05. With 5 wickets in hand, they need 166 runs.
There's that easy single to mid-off. And slowly hit ball might just allow you 2 down to mid-off. At the end of last over, Imran came down and had a bit of a chat to Manzoor. There's the easy single to mid-off. Steadied him down too much. In fact, he's hit that way back. That's exactly what Imran was talking about. Hardest hitter of a cricket ball in present-day cricket. It's 5 for 100.
So much more than you'll find anywhere else. India. Do it now.
Manzoor. He's moved along to 10. Well, Imran described him as a very hard hitter. He didn't hit that one all that hard. It was just a forward flick, and it went 10 rows back. Amazing shot.
Well, look at the trajectory on that, and that is a long way back. No doubt about it. That's almost 100 metres. That's a big hit. He must have a great piece of willow too. Well, he's had a couple of swipes early. Didn't quite get near the middle, but that one, it was well and truly hit.
Shout there from Tim Zura. Well, a couple of overs back, Imran walked down and had a chat to Manzoor, Alahi. And I reckon what he might have said was, if you're going to hit, for heaven's sake, hit straight. Manzoor had been trying to hit over mid-wicket. And certainly that last one from Simon O'Donnell, he hit pretty straight and extremely well. Order. And it'll be an overthrow. Imran hadn't followed through too much at the non-striker's end.
The Australian captain had to have a shy then. I think it would have been pretty close had he hit. In fact, I think Imran may have been out. Yeah, looking for the quick single. Well, right. Still no one backing up for cricket.
You're looking for 2 again, but I think Dean Jones is a bit too quick for that. He's going to be an interesting young man to watch if he can continue to just play virtually an on-drive with a bit of a flourish. Finishes up 10 rows back in the member stand. He's going to be well worthwhile watching. In the air, but safe, and they'll be looking for 2 this time.
They get them comfortably too. Marsh, the fieldsman. what will he do? 7 off the over so far. 11 off the previous one.
Wait, says Imran. 7 runs off that over. 2 hard-hitting batsmen at the crease. And Imran will be the general out there.
Gets in hand. Pakistan the better run rate. They've only got 5 wickets left.
And that is an enormous hit. There was a bit more power behind that one, but it's gone well back. We're seeing some quite big hitting here from these 2 Pakistan players.
Well, captain says if he could do it. I have a bit of a dash too, but there was a lot of bottom hand on this one. And that's very square. Almost right through mid-wicket. That goes over the timber railing, over the fence, and what a hit. Well, that's 2 big ones in the space of just a few minutes.
Comfortable leg bye there for Imran. Well, I'm just starting to think about that chat again that Imran had with Manzoor. Perhaps I was wrong in him saying about just hitting straight. He might have told him to slog like hell and don't get out. So absolutely berserk. Smash every ball out of the park, but make sure you don't get out.
And the sort of thing Dennis Lilly used to say with me. We're trying to get the tail to wag a bit. You just hang in there, we'll play straight. Just hit the cover drives behind square leg.
Yes, I've heard that advice floating around the Australian dressing room back in the days when I used to play. It was usually being touted by one R.W. Marsh.
I must admit he was a better hitter when he hit straight. He used to always get himself out when he tried to tug one through mid-wicket. He looked a lot better going straight down the ground. Now Pakistan with the willow in the hand. Simon O'Donnell's a fair pace. And sword down on one knee. Trying to sweep this one away. In position very early too. But he'll be an exciting prospect for the next 20-odd overs or so, 22 to go. He gets a few in the middle of the bat. He's scintillating cricket. Both of them set the ground alight yesterday. So too did Dean Jones. We've had another taste of Dean Jones today. Now maybe Mansour's the man.
And that's a good piece of bowling by Simon O'Donnell. 5 for 120 as against Crescent waning. Great sight. And we've seen a couple of great sights here in the last couple of overs at the Wacker ground. A couple of big hits, one from Imran, one from Manzoor. And the man who's been on the receiving end, Simon O'Donnell. Simon has been hit for a 6 in each of his last 2 overs. And perhaps that's what brought about this reaction from Simon at the end of last over. Beating the bat, not getting a just reward. And just wishing him all the best. Edged and taken by Tim Zura. And once again, Stephen Waugh has done the job for Australia.
And what a valuable all-round effort by Steve Waugh. Good 82 runs with the ball. Now he's taken the 3rd wicket, the valuable wicket of the general, Imran Khan. Trying to wangle this one away. Down the vacant slips area. Gets it too fine. Little extra bounce. Tim Zora takes the catch. Pretty simple catch, really. To Imran Khan. Back on his way to the pavilion. Pakistan, 6 wickets down.
Imran Khan.
Yes, this is how Imran Khan went. No one either side of Tim Zora. The edge going straight through. 3 wickets now. He bowled so very, very well. 3 wickets. 18 runs in his 7th over.
And let's call a wide there by Tony Crafter. Stephen Waugh has done an excellent job for Australia. Hasn't made too many mistakes on this occasion, just a bit wide. But he's impressive with the thought that he gives his bowling in any cricket, but particularly limited overs cricket. I think he's bowled better to Ian Botham than any of the other Australians when Botham's going. I thought he bowled particularly well to him yesterday. Also in the test up in Brisbane when Ian Botham was really on the rampage. Waugh bowled pretty well to him. That's a good delivery. Gets past Tim Zura, and that'll be 4 leg byes.
Alan Border standing around about 2nd or 3rd slip. It's an outstretched left hand of Tim Zora. No one down at 3rd man. But, 4 runs.
Asif Mushtaba off the mark with a single.
Will Mansour go for a big hit, or will he try and keep the strike? Just 4 wickets in hand. Pakistan, they're chasing 273. 6, 1, 3, 4.
Asif is looking for the single. Simon O'Donnell, who's taken a bit of stick in the last couple of overs, continues. In the commentary position, Rodney Marsh and Tony Cozier.
And out in the middle, Simon O'Donnell. He will come in for a new over for the left-handed Asif Mushtaba. Left-hander, of whom great things are expected by Pakistan. Not only in the immediate future, but in the long-term future as well.
No great things coming from this shot. Comprehensively beaten, trying to run the ball down to 3rd man. Simon O'Donnell, a trifle unlucky not to near his first wicket. A good delivery that from Simon.
Nicely played off the legs. He looked for 2 here, but it could be suicide if he came for it. But just a single. He moves on to 2. 6 for 136. Asif, a young player, age of 18, having made his test debut against the West Indies in the recent series. And inexperienced, playing for the first time on the light. Didn't play in the first match against the West Indies in this series. So it's a new experience for him and a big occasion for the young man. Well, that was aimed in the general direction of the Sheraton Hotel in central Perth.
And had he hit it in the middle, it may well have gone there. Already hit one massive 6. Simon O'Donnell having words to say to someone. Actions. Simon, an ex-VFL footballer, doesn't mince his words.
And he steered that through the slips area for 4. True, he did get a thick outside edge, but it was a deliberate shot. He was looking for it down that area. Picking up 4, and that pleased him.
He's just opening the face. And of course, that's not a great shot in a test match. When there are no slips, it usually brings a good result. On that occasion, bringing 4 runs.
This fellow came here with a reputation of being a big hitter. And we certainly have seen evidence of it this evening. Very busy cricketer.
One of the confusing things playing against Pakistan was always their calling. Because in the field you always realise when a fellow was going to run and whether or not they said yes or no. The Pakistanis talking a different language. You're not quite sure what they're saying some of the time.
A bit of fielding, but it has to be backed up, and that's a single.
Facing on at Gloucester Park tonight.
And they've got one. There must be a second here. The fielder is not onto it yet. So comfortably 2. And Manzoor picking up the runs, but he really will have to do a botham here if Pakistan are to get in the match.
He's facing on at Gloucester Park tonight, and included in one of the races is the Great Village Kid that won the Inter-Dominion last year.
And Fox will come and join us on the commentary team.
I don't back paces.
And that's gone down to backward square leg. That's 4 runs. Well, this fella certainly is showing that his reputation, which he brought here, was not ill-founded. He puts bat to ball, and it really stays hit when he hits it.
Very unorthodox type of stroke, this, but very effective. He played a similar shot which brought about his downfall in the first game of this series against the West Indies. This time he rolled the wrists on it, which meant the ball stayed down a little bit better than his last effort. But he's finding the gaps. He's raced on to 24 after only 23 balls, 2 fours, and 1 massive 6.
And in fact, that 6 is one of 15 which have been hit already in this series. So the crowds which have come to the matches we've had so far, and this is only the 3rd, certainly have seen a lot of 6s hit. The ball has been flying in all directions. 15 already. And 2 more again. Plenty of empty space out there. The whacker ground on the square side's very big indeed. Although I believe I'm right in saying, Rod, that it's been even drawn in just a little bit from what it used to be back in the 60s and early 70s.
Yeah, certainly the ground redevelopment last season, I should correct myself. It is slightly smaller and perhaps about 5 metres shorter on the straight hit.
Beaten outside the off stump, just passing that outside edge. Manzoor looking to run it down to 3rd man.
Even more hitting the seam. And that ball angling back in. A good delivery from Stephen Moore, very similar to the one which dismissed Imran. Good piece of bowling.
And that's gone in the air, high over the extra cover area. Won't carry for 6, will certainly carry for 4. This fellow certainly has shaken things up. Manzoor shot, typical left-handers, square drive, just a single, but it looked good.
And Pakistan to win need 121 runs in 17.5 overs at less than 7 and over. The current run rate 4.78, but they have only 4 wickets in hand. And I would suggest that Alan Border must get another wicket. Hopefully this chap, and the way to do it maybe would be bring back Bruce Reid.
Manzoor looks to me very much a front foot player. The ball which is short may tuck him up a bit. He's thrusting that front foot forward almost before the ball is delivered. And all of his big shots so far have been off the front foot.
Bruce Reid has 5 overs to bowl. And no doubt Alan Border is thinking of saving him right till the end. But he must get another wicket. And if he can get Manzoor out, I don't think the Pakistanis can get these runs.
This is the third match of the series. 3 more to come in succession. Tomorrow, Sunday and Monday. And England against the West Indies. That really could be a ripper here tomorrow. And Australia versus the West Indies. Both matches, day matches, starting in the morning. And no light spin necessary for those. And then England, Pakistan on Monday. Well bowled. Beat him outside that off stump. And as you can see, the pitch here, which has been used so far for all 3 matches, rather cut up so that they'll go across to the adjoining one for the last 3 matches of the preliminaries. And that looks to be almost in identical shape to this one, which has really been a very good pitch indeed. Plenty of runs in it, 2 bounce, 2 pace.
Oh. Stephen Waugh to continue to Manzoor.
Can they get 2 here? Yes, they will. Matthews not quite fast enough, and he couldn't get there in quickly enough. He's out a long way at backward point. 2 more runs to Manzoor.
So on the 7th of January, the final, the man of the match will receive a magnificent $17,000 Longines watch. And it really is a picture, that watch. 18 karat gold Longines Conquest watch. It features Dayton sweep second hand. And it's very high precision mechanism.
And that's in the air. Someone is running around, can't quite make the catch. And the ball rolls into the boundary for 4. And Waugh, I think, has every reason there to feel a little bit cut up about it, because it was in the air for a long while, but it dropped just between the fielders.
That precision mechanism is almost as good as the precision placement of this shot of Manzoor's. A great prize and a great shot from Manzoor. $17,000 worth of watch.
So the field coming in here for the left-handed Mushtaba, who is really not settled yet. And he's been rather hemmed in. And just the signal as he finds a gap in the offside field. So Pakistan ticking on, but the fact that they've lost 6 wickets and 6 very good wickets puts real pressure on the last few batsmen. Mansour comes into the strike, and the field starts to walk backwards, almost as if they're going home. Going right out on the boundary. There are in fact 5 fielders on the fence. Mansour really batting extremely well here, picking up his runs expertly. Ends the over from Steve Waugh, and Pakistan 6 for 165 with 10 runs. Well, that's a wild shot outside the off stump. Mushtaba really has not settled in at all.
Very wild shot there. But he lives to fight another day.
So that's a single down to third man, which is really what Pakistan want, because Manzoor is obviously the man now who can do the thing for them. He's playing very well indeed. And I'm sure has the Australians a little bit worried at this stage. They were shaken up last night by Ian Botham, and if this man is not quite Ian Botham, he certainly has played a number of very hearty shots.
Mansour looking to get forward. O'Donnell digging that one in, and he wasn't all that happy with this, coming well forward, squaring him up. But Simon, I wouldn't dig another one in, because I think he's looking in that square leg direction. He might be rocking on the back foot on this occasion, and he might try and hit you into Queen's Garden. Best described as a wild slog. But once again, I suppose, had he hit the middle, could have ended up anywhere. Huge swing at this. But he really didn't keep his eye on the ball. He's batting so well, I don't believe he has to resort to this type of wild slogging. He's placing the ball beautifully, running hard between the wickets.
They'll have to hurry here. A little confusion at the bowler's end, and that's what Marsh was saying. They're running very well. As soon as he played the shot, he was off.
I think Simon O'Donnell's football days put him in good stead here. He's taken a bump or two, and certainly wasn't all that concerned about Manzoor running through him. Probably had bigger men when he was playing full back and full forward for St Kilda. Give him a hip and shoulder.
If he's playing for St Kilda, my understanding is that he would have had a lot of roughing up. So that's the over 3 more wickets, and that's very vital.
The first Pakistani batsman dismissed was Shoaib. In daylight, he was LBW to Ken McClay. He made only 9, and that one was pretty much on line, umpire Steve Randell, having no hesitation. The next man out was Ramiz, caught very well by Glenn Bishop. No doubt he's played a bit of Australian rules football. And then a very important wicket, Bruce Reid bowling Javed. A great Yorker. And we have a new bowler to operate from the river end. Michael Whitney. He was very expensive in his first 3 overs. He went for 19. Took some treatment from Quazim.
Have to hurry here. Mike Whitney, right-handed return. He's a left-hander. The batsman hurrying home for that leg by.
The next wicket to fall was that of Madasa. One that nipped back from Stephen Waugh. And this time, only Crafter getting in the act. And judging that one out. Good piece of bowling by Stephen Waugh.
Shot just for the single, but he played it well at the middle of the bat, chopped it down to third man. Good cricket all round. Good return.
The 5th Pakistani batsman dismissed was Azim Omar. Alan Border taking the catch with only 1 boot on. A very simple catch for Border, but losing his shoe in the process, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind.
So I think Mike Whitney here has worked out that Mansour is a front foot player and doesn't like it in short.
A very important wicket of the captain, Imran, was the 6th wicket for Paul. Good piece of bowling again by Stephen Waugh. Imran trying to run it down to third man, getting the finest of edges, and like the true sportsman he is, walking.
And that's over the top, just over the top, but enough that it will get 4 runs. Oh, this fellow Mansour is really putting back the ball. That mid-on fielder was in the semicircle, and he went over the top and got that boundary.
Nice clean hit. Not attempting to wind up too much, just a flick of the wrist. And had enough on it to get over the circle and into the fence.
Just a single there. First Pakistani wicket was Shoaib, and I'm sure that those of you at home who would have seen the replay a short while ago may have wondered whether the batsman actually gave himself out as well. Have a look at this here. Leg before, and in fact the ball whipped away. And watch Shoaib. No, he's not giving himself out. He's telling the other batsman not to run, and there was no necessity for that. But it did look very much as if he was also putting the finger in the air with the umpire. And that's a good shot. Bruce Reid down there, but they'll get 2 runs for it. Really the left-hander's strongest area. That area between point and third man. So 2 runs there to come off. 8 overs, no maidens, no wicket for 32. The Pakistan run rate at the present time is 4.88, and they need, if they're to win this match, to score at an average of exactly 7 runs per over the remainder of the innings. 36 overs gone. They have 4 wickets in hand, and Mansour has given them certainly some hope here, but they still have a very long way to go. It's now down to just under 100 runs for them, and that's always a psychological advantage when you know that you have less than 100, less than 3 figures.
I venture to say if this fellow's in at the end, Pakistan will win this game. If he gets out, then I believe Australia will.
Now he's scurried for 1. Will he attempt the second? No, he won't. Return on the way, and couldn't get the second there, so just the 1 there to Mansour.
Sloppy return from Glenn Bishop on that occasion. Mansour deciding to go forward. Perhaps he should have decided to come back. Not gloving the ball cleanly, but it's always a difficult thing to do when an outfielder throws them at your feet.
And surely that was a run. Well, I suppose there was all sorts of confusion, and in the end they did the right thing and not come through for it.
I'll tell you what happened there, Tony. Mansour couldn't see where the ball had gone because Bruce Reid was in his way, if you can believe that. Bruce did not all that wide across the shoulders or any other part of his body. But Mansour's sight was blocked by Bruce Reid, and he didn't rely on the young fella's call. But certainly a single there.
And it's hit the stumps. So they'll come for a single, which they would have got in any case. The ball hitting the stumps and the batsman going through for 1.
Good straight drive. Not timed as well as you would have liked. Hitting it on the rise. But Asif scurries through for a single.
Yes, he wouldn't have thought that Bruce Reid could have blocked the view of anyone looking at him there. Comes in now, tries to block Mansour. Strong arm Mike Whitney, and That will prevent the batsman getting the second run, even though the return is untidy, giving Zura a lot of trouble.
There's no excuse for those bad returns when you realise the batsman is not going for the second run. Under pressure, they can be forgiven, but that's 2 in this over. And there's no real excuse for that. It just lowers the tone of the whole fielding side.
That's a difficult catch. It really was sliced extremely hard, and a tumbling effort down at backward point by Waugh. He got the hands to it, but he couldn't hold it on. It really was travelling.
Brilliant effort by Stephen Waugh. And the sort of catches that win matches, but it really was flying. Stephen Waugh diving yards to his right. It would have been a classic catch. Wringing his hand there, that one really did smart.
So some good, effective running here by the Pakistanis. In strike, he faces Mike Whitney, and here's Tony Greig, and with him, Richie Benaud.
Tony. It was a pretty ordinary effort, paddling that one away down to square leg. The umpire down that end, that's umpire Crafter, didn't signal wide. Mansour's not very happy with that. Yes, well, having said that he's got 48. And there it is. 5 fours and a single and 1 6. 43 balls. That's our computer that's produced those figures for us. He's got 48. Oh, it's straight up in the air. Whitney's going to go underneath it. Oh, they're going to collide. No, they won't. He's got him. He's out caught. Oh, it's a big wicket for Australia because Mansour can be a real danger man. That one went high. 3 of them were converging on it. But at the end of the day, Whitney had his way.
Well, when he went off, he was kissing his bat. And now he's placed his lips upon his ball.
Look at that, down she comes, and there was no way he was going to, whoops, it just nearly popped out.
Well, he got it in the end. There's one thing about him, Tony, he wanted it. He wasn't going to let anyone else get near it. He was shouting for it the moment it went in the air, and that's a good sign. Mansour Allah, he played very well.
Then is the wicket-keeper. And judging by that first stroke of his, he's no luck with the bat.
Whitney, and he's coming in from the river end. I think the Australian bowlers have been a bit fortunate tonight to get away with some of those deliveries. Been going down outside the leg stump, not by much, but must have been bringing a few raised eyebrows from the umpires, I think.
Yes, that's certainly the case. I also thought that early on, bowling from the members' end, Ken McClay was very lucky to get away with some of the wide balls outside off stump. He bowled them there consistently as well, and normally the umpires are very severe. It's placed away on the offside into the gap. And actually the guy out there with the red crash helmet on is Salim. Asif's down the other end. He's got 11. Salim scoring that single. Having seen him play that one, I can still stick with that comment. He doesn't look too bad with the bat. He's coming in at number 9, so they haven't really got much of a tail, the Pakistanis. But today, I'm afraid they messed it up in the middle order. It's nicely placed, and he's dropped his bat. Whitney, not sure whether to help the batsman. In hand, Bruce Reid bowling from the members' end. Oh, that's well bowled, but nicely glided away too, down to third man.
crucial dismissals by the Australians in the Pakistan innings. Javed Miandad, who is a very, very dangerous player. And then that one, Mansour Elahi, with Whitney having it bob in, bob out, and back in again. And then the clenched, not sure if it's clenched teeth or clenched fist. Whatever it is, it looked as though it was very, very painful. But that was a key dismissal. So too the dismissal of Javed Miandad, bowled by Bruce Reid. After Reid had taken a hammering from Kazim Omar, Javed Miandad is a very fine player. And then Imran Khan out for 20. The experience then was mostly gone from the Pakistan lineup.
Played into the gap, and that's running away down towards the extra cover boundary. Marsh won't get there. Well, that's not bad timing. That ball slightly overpitched by Reid and smashed away on the offside by Salim. Into the gap it goes, and a fair bit of power behind that shot. He looks to be enjoying himself. He's only had 4 balls and has scored 5 runs.
Well, last night, I reckon that ball would have been called wide, and in the first match between Pakistan and West Indies, there seems to be a difference in interpretation here.
Yes, Reid certainly had a quick glance over his shoulder there to see whether umpire Randall was going to call that wide. That's on the other side. Well, in the early days of this rule in England, sometimes you could get away with it if you bowled one down the leg side and then one down the offside. That changed. And the umpires got wise to it. Bowlers will try anything in circumstances leading up to the end of a one-day game to prevent the batsman from scoring. .72 runs now per over to win is Pakistan. Marsh.
There'll be no slowing down for Pakistan. Even if things in the end look to be impossible, they'll be looking to their run rate, which could be very important in this competition. If teams finish equal on points, that's what's happening at the moment. Their current run rate's 4.85, and their rate against West Indies was also quite good. They can't afford to be bowled out inside 50 overs, though.
Yes, they'll be aware of their position on the run rate front, and they'll be trying to lift that run rate, because England are in fact leading in terms of run rate. Australia is second, and they've done themselves no harm today. Pakistan way behind. And last but not least, the West Indies at the moment. It's in the air, it's going down towards mid-off, it'll bounce once. So just a single. So Whitney with sweat pouring off him at the moment, charging in. Asif on to 15. Salim 6. They need to score at almost 8 and over to win. And they've got 3 wickets in hand, so a real uphill battle now for the Pakistanis field than they were yesterday. There was a little bit of bounce about their play and they started taking a few wickets early on. Three runs off this over. Alan Border once again has used just 5 bowlers. He has Matthews in his side today, but hasn't found it necessary to give him a bowl. Reid has bowled 7 overs and taken 1 for 38. It's a beautiful night here in Perth. Lovely cool evening and played away down towards square leg. Salim looking quite comfortable despite the fact that he's a number 9. Two men right at the bottom still to come. Wasim and Jaffa. In the meantime, Bruce Reid doing really well here for the Australians. This is his 8th over. They might go for 2 on this occasion. No, they won't. Simon O'Donnell, the fieldsman. Yes, the fact that Reid has kept the runs he's conceded down to 38 is a compliment to his bowling in the latter half of his spell. Because in the initial stages, having bowled 3 overs, he'd conceded 27 runs, so he got a little bit of hammer initially. In fact, went for 4 fours in 1 over when Kasim decided to have a go at him. Since then, he's really settled down. He's a very level-headed young man. That's what's required in these one-day games, a lot of thought.
Just looking at that white ball there in Bruce Reid's hands, it is so much easier to see that ball in these games than the ones we televised the McDonald's Cup matches earlier.
It's in the air and just short of Whitney, and he's missed it. It's gone into the boundary. Well, he decided to come charging in to see if he could pick it up before it bounced. Reid's not very happy about it. I don't think he thought there was much of a chance of making a catch out of this one. Let's have another look.
Well, if you want to make a catch, you need to dive forward, but I suggest that at this stage of the game that it might have been better to put his body or his throat or anything you like in front of it and just stop it reaching the boundary.
He's nice and pumped up, I think. He's currently bowling from the river end. And he saw that white ball, which you're right, Richie, it's really magnificent. You can see it beautifully and definitely better by comparison with the experimental ball used earlier this year. I feel certain that the crowd, certainly from up here in the commentary box, would agree with that. And I can't believe the same doesn't apply to the players.
Well, I've talked to spectators on this ground and asked them about the white ball. Certainly they find it easier. Quite certain television viewers do as well.
It's in the air, but over the infield, and it's running down towards the mid-on boundary, but cut off there. That brings up the 200 for Whitley, charging in, left arm over the wicket.
The points table and the run rates we showed you earlier, the Pakistan rate was at the start of this innings, that was 3.98, and their rate there with the asterisk against it, we've brought it up to the start of this over, so they're doing pretty well. They're behind England and Australia, but not all that much behind, and that's why they'll be keeping on playing their strokes and trying to make certain they bat out their 50 overs here this evening. And that batting the 50 overs out only comes into question if they suddenly find themselves towards the end not having any chance to make the runs. But they're still in this game. These two fellows are playing very well. They have the confidence of the victory over the West Indies to boost them along.
Scoreboard's got a date point. It's nicely placed. They still need to score around about 7 over. And they've kept it there for a little while now, so they're holding the situation. .3 overs remaining. And if these two can take it up to within striking range with 2 or 3 overs to go, they can then really start throwing the bat. Very sensible stuff from the Pakistan tailenders at the moment. Well, having said that, he went and let me down. Salim rushing down the wicket and trying to flay that one away. And so I don't think there was much chance of him connecting that one. The best he could have done was get a top edge, and had he done that, it may well have gone straight into the side screen behind him. In the air, but there's no one there. Matthews is running around from mid-wicket. Another 2 to Salim. So they've scored 5 runs off this over so far. So once again, about to score the 7 they require each over.
Has the strike with single off the last ball. Bruce Reed's to bowl to him, just adjusting so that there are 4 men inside the circle.
That's well bowled. If they're adopting the orthodox field, the Australian, there are 2 men inside the circle on the offside, and 2 men on the onside a little bit straighter. They haven't adopted that tactic of bringing the fine leg up into the circle and having one back in front of square. The orthodox field there by the border. Oh, and that'll be 4. It's gone into the gap, backward a point, and a good shot from Salim. Just outside off stump, Reed giving the batsman there a little bit of room to move, and he took advantage of it.
This partnership is starting to look very dangerous for Australia now. Not everything has come off the middle of the bat, but it doesn't have to. As long as it goes into the picket fence or the advertising signs, whichever it may be. 21 from 21 balls for Salim.
He's hit that one. It's high in the air. The fielder down there is moving around. Will he get there? No, he won't. We hit that one high and over the top. Well played. What a beautiful shot down to mid-on. Well done. It's right. These Pakistanis off yet. This is the advantage of having batsmen come in late in the order. What a beautiful shot this is for a tailender.
A very wristy, lithe player. He's bent almost half over there in playing that shot and timed it beautifully. Well, now, there's problems out there for Alan Border. Been problems all along. Pakistan have been a little bit in stops and starts, losing a wicket, then making another run with a partnership.
It's a full toss and it's hit into the gap, but the field is well placed. Will they come back for a second? No, they won't. 13 runs off that over from Bruce Reed. A good one for Pakistan. 7 for 220.
Over the years, men have done some crazy...
7-1. Once again, he's hit that one very well straight down the ground, but the fieldsman is right back on the boundary, and the batsman restricted to just one. Then a few breaks every now and again, and do what they did last over, score 13.
And Salim Yusuf has just signalled down to Asif Taba just to push a single. Don't worry about anything else, just get me a single, he said.
Yes, he's certainly taken control out there. He's rushed on to 31 when he faced 26 balls. And he's flicked that one away. Forget about the single. I'm going to take a little leaf out of your book, I think he probably said. Because that was well played too.
Jones is having a lot of trouble out there with that arm. I don't think Border has picked it up yet. That would have looked 600 yards when he turned to throw that in.
The little fellow's not quite as strong as Salim, who's a lot taller. He's very slim, but he gives that bat a whirl. He's gone to 31 and has to strike now. Asif has 22. He's not doing too badly either, 22 of just 31 deliveries.
This will be a test of temperament for Australia from now on. Or it'll just be starting to whistle through their minds. Surely not again.
It's in the air. It's in the air and it's going to be caught. O'Donnell's under it. He's got it. He's gone. That's a big wicket for Australia. Michael Whitney has struck again. And surely that wicket is going to make the difference for Australia.
Very good short innings from Salim. And just as we were starting to think that the Australians were having problems and those problems were going to grow even bigger, the batsman miscued and O'Donnell judged it very nicely. Sure at the last minute that he really wanted his hands in that position, but he had them around the ball, and Michael Whitney is again this time giving it the 2 pinch misses. 31 to Salim Yusuf. He'll be disappointed. Caught O'Donnell bowl Whitney, and Whitney now has two for 44.
Down, there's no rush here. And it'll be very interesting to see how he handles the bat. He's down at the non-striker's end. This is how the last one happened, the last dismissal. It went high in the air, but Simon O'Donnell always looked confident under that one. And nicely taken. Zura diving away. That one must have nipped back a long way.
It seemed to swing more after it passed the batsman. Moved just a little off the seam and then swung considerably. Very nicely gloved by Zura. The non-striker Wasim Akram is a hitter. Very clean striker of the ball. He has been in the games I've seen from him over the years.
Well, that's a quick single. He manages to keep the strike. Pakistan 8 for 225.
Tony. Full pitch. Oh, there's a chance for runner to hit the stumps. Border's got it, throws, he misses. Full pitch. Asif didn't put it away. Was in charge down the wicket. And Border took his time, fired and missed.
Good backing up by Wasm, but he was sent back. Notice just Alan Border hesitate for a moment, line up at the stumps and have a shy.
It's down to long on. Pakistan's run rate now 5.09. They need 8.16. The man that they didn't want to lose was Salim, who batted very well. Finally tried to hit Whitney over long on. And Simon O'Donnell took a catch in a point position. Just for a brief moment there, one could feel Pakistan getting back in this match. They've fought very hard, chasing a mammoth 273 runs. They've kept their run rate up, but they've lost the wickets. Some good bowling by Waugh. Reed. It's well bowled. Goes for the Yorker.
You've got to keep the ball up, tail-enders, and that one swinging a bit. Reed, like McClay. Clay used the breeze here nicely and the new ball. Well, very well. The run rate required now is 8. So they're going to be able to, well, they're going to have to hit the odd boundary. They're going to get there. Must be positive, Bill.
What we're seeing tonight, Max, is Pakistan still in this match because they bat down to number 10. I think it's vitally important in one-day international that you have depth in your batting. They got lost. They got away to a great start. They were up to 15 overs. They were about 3 for 75. And they got lost when Madassa struggled. And they lost Kasim and Imran. Some good bowling by Stephen Waugh. Then Mansour played a little gem of an innings. His 47, his 48 runs was off only 44 deliveries with 5 fours and 1 6. And then Salim, 31 off 27 deliveries. So they've kept up a reasonably good run rate. And this task at the moment is still not impossible by any means. That's what they must do. Take every single, because when you need only 8 runs per over, 1 and 4, and 2, a couple of singles. This is good running.
Yes, in this marvellous game of one-day cricket, I wouldn't take anything for granted. But that one, it's almost gone back onto the stumps.
That would have been the first time, Max, I've ever seen a guy not hit a ball away from his stumps going for a run. Look at it. It just trickles past the leg stump, about 2 inches in it. Could have been out bowled, going for a single.
And he was innocent to the whole course. He didn't realise where it was. All he was interested was the single. He was up the other end. He's out of trouble, not to mention where the ball is.
I wonder if it could be bowled at the non-striker's end, Max. It's all happening at the whacker. Reed's last delivery is not a good one. Border does well at mid-wicket. It's 8 for 228. Of one-day cricket, as the sixes and the great cover drives and pulls and the magnificent fielding, but also the little incidences happen, the excitement. And watch this.
The ball, the white ball, and it's almost dislodged the bail. You can bet your boots the batsman was oblivious to it all.
Asks the question, but he gets some pad to it. That's important. The throw's a bit wide, and there's an overthrow. So a bonus extra. Umpire, 2 leg byes. Five overs remaining, and Pakistan keeping their hopes alive.
Yes, well, you're right, Bill. Last night the Australians fielded poorly, but today they've fielded pretty well. Carried it right through. But now the business end of the game, anything can happen. A couple of big hits.
They're going to score off every ball possible. Hit the odd outside edge through the slip cord, and there's no slips. Third man and finally a square. So it's very important that the bowlers kick at the stumps. They need 8.6 per over, but that's certainly not impossible. Both of them took 27 runs off 1 over.
2 or 3 big hits, and 14 or 15 off and over, then another 10. All of a sudden you've cut that 50 odd. Yes, well, there's the comparison. Pakistan 228, just 6 runs the difference.
And Asif doing a good job. The difference probably is there's no Dean Jones out there. He's played a gem of an innings for Australia. But all you need is a thick edge. Jones is 100, a great century. 121 off 113 deliveries. And he hit 4s straight down the ground and through mid-wicket just at the right time in the final overs kept that run rate up and the score to 273. Fielded border, doesn't throw because Whitney's not getting back to the stumps. That's not good cricket.
I think you've got to have a go. Of course, with two men that could have possibly back, not much power, border looks, and, well, all the time in the world to have a shy at that.
I'm sure that the batsman said in Pakistani to Michael Whitney, "You're a dummy." A few words were exchanged. In comes Whitney. Down the leg side, got to be a wide. Not called. Dear, oh dear. The over bowls, 8 for 234.
Over the years,
Pakistan fighting right down to the wire. Asif on 27, Wasm on strike on 2. They required 10 runs per over. Not impossible for 4 overs. 10 or 15 overs will be very difficult. With 4 overs, it can happen. That's well struck. It's the captain, the sweeper down at long on. Just the single, the throws, the wicketkeeper. Talking about Dean Jones. Dean Jones played a superb knock today. He joined elite batsmen Haynes, Gooch and Gower, who have scored successive hundreds in one-day internationals with these type of strokes. Square cuts that went like tracer bullets to the boundary. That one went through Omar's legs. Jones hit the ball over the fence. 2 magnificent sixes. Here's one. Whack over mid-wicket off the off-spinner. Beautifully played. And then the 4s kept coming. Dean Jones down the wicket. What a glorious cover drive. So 200s on the trot for Dean Jones. And that's struck, and that's Dean Jones' style of shot. Beautifully timed by Asif. Simon O'Donnell just short of a good length. He whipped him over mid-wicket. Beautifully timed.
Well, the Pakistanis have got to go for the boundaries. 10 runs and over. The only way to do it is pick the gaps, hit the boundary. Alan Ward has got the field pretty well spread. It won't be easy. Don't write them off just yet.
That's a good hit. That's going to be 4 more. That's beautifully placed by young Asif, the young all-rounder coming in the side, showing he's got a touch of class with the bat and certainly not panicking under pressure. Pakistan all of a sudden pressing. 274, getting closer. Wasm says, don't panic. That's 8 off the over. Let's have a couple of singles.
Beautifully struck. Really was. Imran Khan said before play today that this man could bat a bit. And he's showing his wares here at the Wacker. Great stuff.
Bad ball. Just a single. 10 runs off the over so far. So Simon O'Donnell coming back into the attack. Being very expensive. 274 the target.
Asif scored his 36 runs from 43 deliveries. A pretty good strike rate.
Wasm Akram, the batsman on strike. It's a single, I would think. Gets a full toss, he hits it. A skimmer, as Ian Chappell would say, down to long off. And there's 2 there. 12 runs off the over. So this game far from over. 8 for 246. If these two can survive out the 50 overs, there's only 5 runs in it. They need 9.33 runs per over. 3 overs to be bowled. 28 runs. It's getting down, Max Walker.
I'll tell you what, when it gets into the 20s, 2 men, 3 overs, a couple of well-struck hits, and it's going to be line ball right down to the wire, this one.
Michael Whitney struck. Field chest and run out. Oh, the crowd beaten down. The bump ball. The members go wild. The Wacker. They've all relaxed until the last 2 or 3 overs, and all of a sudden they're on the edge of their seats.
Well, in the minds of many, Australia's had this game in the bag for the last hour. But the Pakistanis have showed great courage, a little bit of luck, a fair bit of flair, and they're back in the game.
8 wickets down. Whitney, massive swing and a miss. Not good cricket at this stage. He's batted so well. There's been a few words been exchanged between Whitney and Wasm. They're about the same weight, same size. He's at the non-striker's end. There's a big swing and a miss, and a little bit of feeling coming into this match.
Both left-handers, and I reckon they'd both throw a mean left hook. Still, contest between bat and ball here in the middle of the Wacker. Magnificent stadium, floodlit. 6 huge light pylons. Action aplenty.
It's hit well. Sweepers Marsh does it coolly. They're coming back to the second. The throw's going to be good. This is very close. He's home. Zura doesn't take it. He was there. But Zura fumbling. Pressure been applied.
Well, a little active throughout the challenge, and why not? It's a long way from the keeper. Got to be a very accurate throw. He's picked it up. Taken too long to get rid of it, in my opinion. Took 2 paces to wind up. Zora doesn't glove it. Tries to take him off before he's got control of the ball. Did that a few times in the test match in Melbourne. Tension mounting here.
Batsmen have a mid-wicket conference. Hold up Michael Whitney. That's good tactics. He's fired up. Running in at 100 mile an hour. He gets the treatment. What a shot! Glorious off drive. That's 4. And boy, oh boy, have we got a match on our hands here at the Wacker. 8 for 252.
I think Alan Border's thinking about put down the glasses here. The little fella's down on one knee, caressed it through the covers. Elegance personified. And Alan Border's got a problem. Not a headache yet, but all the potential of this match just sliding away. This is what the game's all about, Bill.
And what a difference it is when you bat down to number 10. It's 1. We've had Mansour 48, Asif 42 not out, Salim the wicketkeeper 31, all batting down in the lower order, all capable of using a bat, hitting with power, good athletes. And now the pressure, possibly for the first time in this 50-over competition this evening, back on the Australians. Are they going to let it slip, or are they going to grab the 2 vital points that they desperately need? 1 ball remaining, 7 runs off this over so far. Wasm on strike. No ball, just at the wrong time. A bonus run, an extra delivery. Well, we've heard of the collie wobbles. And there, Whitney and Wasm. This will be a 10-rounder before the night's out. Both about 5'10", about 12 stone 8. Both with the big muscles in the arms. It's all happening, Max.
It is all happening, Bill. In fact, you can't blame Wasm for challenging Whitney. Well, the run was never on, but just to make him sharpen up the stride, get the adrenaline pumping a bit harder. And certainly, he's got the gas at the moment. He's pumped up, Whitney. He really is fired up here. He's just got 1 ball left in his 10-over spell. Crowd right on the edge of their seats.
There he goes. There's a single. Misfield. 9 runs off the over. The tension mounts at the Wacker. 8 for 255. Zip has moved to 44. A little gem of an innings off 49 deliveries with 3 fours. Wasm scored 6 off 9 deliveries. And that's the equation. A frightening one from the Australian point of view. Very close indeed. Oh, bad ball, and he strikes and he beats cover. This could be 4. Jones, the century maker, putting in the big one. He'll go down for the slide, and he doesn't make it, or does he? Knocks over the screen. There's back 4, 3, 4, says umpire Steve Randall. What an effort from Dean Jones. A magnificent effort, but umpire Randall waving 4. Border at long on. Simon O'Donnell having a discussion. And watch Dean Jones. A tremendous performance.
No thought of personal danger, but certainly there's no doubt about it. It's hit the timber. It's 4 runs. Too shrewd. Steve Randall, the umpire, he signalled 4.
Alan Border, a long way from the play. Simon O'Donnell not happy with the field. Alan Border saying, what do you want? I suggest he's having trouble hearing the skipper from 60 metres away. And a little bit of panic in the Australian camp.
11 balls, 15 runs, 15 to win. 11 balls, count them down yourself. Here we go.
Simon O'Donnell going to Asif on 48. The wicket needed by Australia. It's hit in the air, it's going to fall safe. They probably get two. Wasn't coming back. And that's good running. And my word, Pakistan now in with a real chance to win this match. If they don't win this, Australia, will they ever win a match? They had it in their hand, but the Pakistanis batting right down in the order. The crowd almost numb that. Pause for his 50. Asif a magnificent 50 on 51 deliveries. But what a pressure innings. There are 50s and 50s. This is a little gem.
No consequence if they lose this game. I'm sure you want to push that to the back of his mind. It's a great personal milestone. Spare a thought for Simon O'Donnell, maybe Steve Waugh, who will bowl the next one. I'm sure Greg Matthews won't be used. But very hard to put into words just the sort of things, the sort of feelings would be racing through the mind of Simon O'Donnell at the moment. Tendency to want to choke the ball.
4 balls to bowl this over, and he gets a nice pick edge, this one. Well fielded by Bishop, who's been steady in the field all evening, but not gloved cleanly by Zora. And the pressure on every Australian fieldsman. Border defending 273. Waugh, 3 wickets, and 80 under his belt. Going to bowl the last over. Whitney, he's bowled 10. Reed's bowled 10. And Bishop down there at deep fine leg. And Greg Matthews has hardly fielded a ball at deep point. That's well struck. They go for one. It's picked up. It's a throw by Jones with a bad arm. O'Donnell doesn't take it. And they're through safely. Dean Jones with a very bad arm has let it go. O'Donnell in with the chance. Didn't grab it cleanly.
Awkward. Watch this. Tension cricket. Had a good look. Good bounce. O'Donnell just can't quite gather, but the batsman home. It's hit and run.
And that's the situation. 8 balls, 11 runs there, in with a big chance, Pakistan. That's good hit. There's nobody out there. It's high. It's racing towards the boundary, and that's 4. So Pakistan, if they keep their cool, will win this match. They're reducing the batsmen hugging and almost kissing each other. Big Wasm. He's not frightened to have a go. He took on Whitney, and now little Asif, what a gem.
Well, the game's not over yet. It's nice to shake hands in the middle. Who knows? Who knows what can happen? Alan Border, what can he do? Where can he put him? Where do you place him, the tail-end batsman? They're just swinging from the back row of the bleachers. Pakistan, look at that, Bill. 7 runs they need, 7 balls remaining, 2 wickets in hand. Tell us how they're going to go.
Well, if they keep the cool, they'll win it. They will win it. They don't want to lose a wicket. That's the key. Simon O'Donnell, he's got the field up Border. Full pitch. They don't go for one. That's confidence. So there you go. 6 balls remaining. 7 runs for victory. 8 for 267. And what a match. Well, one-day internationals. No wonder the players get tired. Here comes the message. A bucket of water for 6 balls remaining. 1 for Tim Zura. He takes it.
Well, I like the spunk in the boy. There's a little bit of cheek there. Why not? Anything to try and break him up. The spunk in the boy. There's a little bit of cheek there. Why not? Anything to try and break him up at the moment. He's pitched there. Drinks from him, but my goodness, the game's not over. Important, vital over in this match. He's been spelled for a while. The muscles will have seized up. Certainly the tendency to choke. Probably the most important over he's bowled, perhaps, in his life.
I'm fed to the back to Steve Waugh. I just feel they should have taken a single off that last delivery. They've got 2 wickets in hand. And Stephen Waugh just to bowl short of the length. It'll be the luck of the draw here. They get a big edge and it races away for 4. There's 17,027 people here at the Wacker. They are stunned beyond belief because this will be one of the all-time great wins by Pakistan if they get up. They were, one stage, 5 for 96, 6 for 129, 7 for 181, 8 for 224. And they're showing us what one-day cricket is all about. You bat down to number 11 you show a bit of guts and determination, and you throw the pressure back on the bowlers. And listen to that hum, Max Walker.
And that hum is because just about every second person out there in the field taking on the role of captaining Australia at this stage. What they'd do, what would they do? That's half the joy of this cricket. Where they'd place their field, where they'd bowl the ball, what they'd do if they're the batsmen. It is a mind game from now on, but for the players in the middle, 6 to go.
6 to tie, 7 to win. That could be out. It's in the air. Whitney's under it. That was not a good shot, and he's got it. Oh, the crowd go wild. So the little man is on strike as if wasn't head bowed, possibly overconfident. It wasn't needed a slog. He did it. The pressure got to him. And Waugh, who has got great confidence in, was just short of a good length. And Whitney took the pressure catch, and 17,000 fans jumping to their feet.
I'll tell you what, Bill, it was a pressure catch. They've got away with a bit of hit and miss, the Pakistanis. They've had their fair share, but look how long that ball hung in the air. Whitney's got to hang there. The roar of the crowd. 17,000, 18,000 people here. They were hanging there, they were roaring. And yet he had to watch the ball. A little bit of breeze around the Fremantle doctor. It's pulled up a bit. But Wasim Akram goes. Now only the number 11 batsman to come.
But the key to this match still may be the fact that they ran through for the single. And Asif on 55 gets the strike. We'll see the replay. Tried to hit it over mid-on somewhere. Got the leading edge or a thickish edge. Went to Whitney, who caught it comfortably enough. But little Asif tore through to retain the strike. Alan Border, he should be grey. There's no doubt about it. No right to be normal coloured hair, Alan Border. He's under pressure again, defending 273, and he's shouting for one of the few times you see Alan Border emotional. The pressure coming out. Dean Jones, 121. Waugh, now 4 wickets and 80. And out comes poor old Jaffa. Well, he has to run. Jaffa is at the non-striker's end. But the man at the striker's end has shown touch of class tonight. In comes Waugh. They go for 1. So number 11. How many balls remaining? Lost count. 4 balls remaining. 5 runs for a tie. 6 for a victory, and in comes number 11. Well, Max, you're batted at number 11 often enough.
And I'd have enough common sense to know that I wouldn't win it from here. I'd be dropping the ball at my feet and scampering up the non-business end. That's the non-striker's end, and I'd give it to the little fellow. We can get to within 4, 1 hit will do it.
And also for Pakistan, with already points on the board, a tie would be a great benefit to them. That's the equation. 6 runs, 4 balls, and only 1 wicket. Can the number 11 stand the pressure? Because the commentators are getting a bit wobbly, I can tell you that.
Tell you what, Jaffa's lucky he's got the chewing gum and not the Jaffas in the mouth. I tell you what, he's going up and down. The jaws are moving a million mile an hour. And I bet the heart is too.
In comes Stephen Waugh. The number 11's at the crease. He puts back the ball. There's 1, and I'll be happy with that, surely. Yes. Asif as cool as a cucumber in the crisis. 5 to win, 4 for a tie, and for Pakistan, that'll be enough. Give them the extra point. Australia, it's not good enough. They need 2.
Well, Alan Borders, he's got a problem here. Does he push him out? Or does he try and back his bowler and leave a few in, try and stop the single? He's got an awkward situation here. He'll tug on the onside. There's no doubt about that. He's got a deep long on, a deep mid-wicket, and Alan Border himself some 50 metres at mid-wicket 45.
Stephen Waugh active on strike. Gets it timed. Plays down there. He's raised the strike. Can he get it? He knocks it down. There's 3 for 2. And Asif retains the strike. The plays wild. They're going to the 3rd. The throws up there. And he's home safely. Goodness gracious me. 1 for a tie. One for a tie. 2 for a win. Well, I've had it. You take over, Max.
Well, we very rarely see Irving Rosenwater rattle, but he's got the biros going, the HP pencil, it's all going. He'll be calling for the obliterator shortly here. The game's not down yet. The game's not over till the last ball's bowled. We've got 2 to go. Is that right, Phil?
That's right. And Alan Border must bring them in, Max. We've got a number 11 on strike. There's got to be a run out here. And for the batting point of view, he's got to put bat to ball or pad. They may have, look at the slips, 2 slips in the gully. Cover, a mid-off, mid-on, square leg, backwards square leg. Nobody's down. Will he swing? Will the pressure get to the number 11? He swings, that's victory. So at least a tie, they'll go for 2, and Pakistan bring off one of the all-time great wins. What a performance. A win for Pakistan. The scoreboard is not correct. They're going off, they're asking, is that right? Yes. And full point, will Australia ever win a match? That selection victory, you can put it down to the Pakistan selectors. They batted down to number 11. They deserved a well-earned victory. They were 1 for 34, 2 for 40. Look at their teammates. 3 for 73, 4 for 93, 5 for 96, 6 for 129, 7 for 181, 8 for 224, and 9 for 267. And Riddle Asset, he played a gem, 59 off 56 deliveries, but that was an innings worth 150 for Pakistan. 2 games, 2 wins. Australia down and out. 1, 2, 3, out.
Yes, well, Pakistan now will certainly go into the final. They did it the hard way. Shoaib missed out. He made 9. Ramiz a duck. Kazim Omar played well with Javed Miandad, top batter, and Madassa. They made 7 each. Of course, they did it the hard way. Steve Waugh, what a great performance, a gutsy performance, but in the end it just wasn't enough to come back and had to really try and take wickets, come on and bowl that last over. But what a marvellous game of cricket. Cricket has been the victor here. Unfortunately for Australia, they lost a memorable game of cricket.
Well, Dean Jones, 200s in 2 days, finally gets the Man of the Match award. For Dean Jones, it would mean nothing. They needed a victory, a great personal effort.